Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So sorry that my hair has gone a bit crazy and my makeup probably doesn't look as nice. I filmed this video about probably like 7-8 hours ago. And then I had some stuff like I had to go do and I had to leave really quick, so I didn't get a chance to film an intro or an outro. So my makeup will look nicer in the actual part of the video. But I'm going to be doing contouring, just like kind of basic for beginners. Just kind of like some tips and tricks, some products I use, and just kind of how to do it. I'm not a makeup artist or anything, so it's not going to be perfect. It's just how I do it and what works for me. And hopefully if you had any questions about it or you're wanted to try it out, then they can work for you as well. I'll show you all the products and everything I used. I did have my face makeup on already. Just my foundation, but I will list everything that is on my face below in case you guys were curious. So just keep watching and we'll jump right on into the video. Alright, so I already have my foundation on and then my eyebrows, but I haven't done anything else yet. The foundation I used was the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation, and I'm in the shade Soft Ivory, just in case you were wondering. Alright, so I already have my face makeup on and then my eyebrows, but nothing else. The foundation I have on is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus, and mine is in the shade Soft Ivory, just for a reference. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how I highlight and conceal. So I'm not a huge fan of like cream contouring, and I don't really necessarily like cream highlight, but I do like to highlight with concealer. So I'm just first going to highlight under my eyes, and I just kind of do it in a triangle. Just depending on the concealer you're using and the coverage you like will kind of depend on how much you want to use. And this is the Wet n Wild concealer, also the Photo Focus concealer, and I have mine in the shade, I think, Light Ivory as well. But it does look a little bit lighter than yeah, I think it is a little bit lighter than the foundation. So I'm going to highlight under my eyes. I'm going to highlight right between my eyebrows, a little right there. Right down the bridge of my nose. Right here. I'm going to put a little concealer on my chin as well. And then a tiny bit just right over here on these spots while I'm just going ahead and concealing. And I'm just going to blend it out with a damp sponge. And in case you guys were wondering, this is the Real Technique sponge right here. And I'm going to set my face using the Wet n Wild Pressed Powder Compact. This is also the Photo Focus powder, and I am in the shade Warm Light, which I think this is the lightest shade they do it in, but there might be one lighter. But on my skin, it's basically just the color of it, so you can't even see it. And I'm just going to set my whole face just because this foundation is a little bit tacky. So I'm going to use the fluffy brush to set all of it. And then I'm going to use this smaller brush. This is the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush to just set that under my eyes because I think that gets under it a little bit better. And then I'm just going to set with this brush like exactly where I put the concealer, just because I don't want it to crease. Set my eyelids. Alright, now that we're all set, the contour and highlight palette I'm going to use is this one. This is also a Wet n Wild product. This is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Contouring Palette in the shade Dulce de Leche. And this, for the price, is I think $4, and you get a really, really good size pan. I mean, that's a lot of product. It's bigger than my hand, or yeah, like compared to my hand. They blend out really well. I like them a lot. If you're fair and like light skin, this color would be pretty good for you. If you're medium to dark skin, they do have a darker one. I don't remember what it's called, but so you could get the darker version. But basically when you're contouring, you don't want to use like a bronzer shade because those are going to tend to be a little bit more orangey. You want to go for something that's a little bit more of a cooler tone. has like a little bit of like gray undertone to it. You don't want to go too gray because it's going to look like ashy. So you kind of want to find something that good in between. So this is what I'm going to be using, but let me show you a couple other products that you could use as well. I also use this one as well. This is like a highlight and contour palette too. It has one for light skin, one for like medium-ish skin, and then one for darker skin. So you could also use something like this. And if you do like to cream contour, you could use something like this. You wouldn't necessarily need something with this many colors if you're just using it like for yourself, if you weren't doing makeup on other people. This is just the only cream contour kit that I have. It came with my BoxyCharm. And it just has all these different, this has all the different like This has all the different like concealer and highlight shades, and these have the different contour shades. Usually there's not really a good one in here that suits my skin tone perfectly. So I usually go for either this milk chocolate shade and mix it a tiny bit with toasted almond, which is just like a darker kind of ashy shade, or I'll sometimes, this toffee color I can also get away with, just depending. So those are just a few options. There's tons you can find. I'm just going to use this one because it's easy to get your hands on. You can buy Wet n Wild on their website, most drugstores. It's super affordable. So if you did want to like purchase the product that I use, this would be the easiest one. So I'll just show you guys this one today. Alright, so for the highlighting part, I'm going to use this Real Technique setting brush. So to highlight like the high points in my face, I don't really like to use like a matte highlighting powder. Which this is just kind of like a matte powder. You could even use this to set your face, like if you just bought this instead of using another powder like I did. So I'll use this, but I'm also going to use a highlighter that has like a sheen to it as well. But I'm just going to take this, and basically parts you want to highlight with this is where you put your concealer. So just kind of, it'll be like highlighting under your eyes. Right in here. Highlight under this eye too. And I just kind of highlight right in a triangle. And you want the powder to be a little bit lighter than your actual skin tone, just so it shows up as a highlight and not just blends right in. And then with this, I'm also going to highlight the bridge of my nose. As well, which these are basically the same places that I already put concealer and set. But if you wanted to use a concealer that was the same color as your skin tone, instead of using a concealer that was a little bit lighter, then you could go back over with this to highlight those areas. But I tend to use a concealer that's a little bit lighter anyway, just to use that to highlight with too. And I'm also going to highlight my chin right here, and then I'm also going to highlight my forehead right up here, kind of between my brows and like right above them, and like a triangle sort of. And if you do want to do this with cream contouring, you can do this exact same thing with a cream and then just blend it out with like a dampened brush. A dampened sponge or a brush. So you can't tell a ton, but this is where I put the powder, like those areas, so it will be highlighted a little bit. But this isn't a ton lighter than my skin, so it's not crazy noticeable, which I'm okay with. And then for contouring, I'm obviously going to use this shade. There's a few different brushes you can use. You can use a brush like this. This is the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. You could use kind of like a kabuki brush, the Crown Kabuki Jumbo Fan Brush. It's a crown brush. You could use something like this to like kind of fit right in there. This one you could turn on its side to fit in there. Some people like to use the oval brushes. You could use these. Same thing, turn it on its side to contour with, and then this way to blend it out. This particular one is also a crown brush. You can use a brush like this. This is the Luxie Small Contouring Brush. This is the brush I usually use. I really like this one because I can turn it and get right here and then use it to buff it in. So I think this one's really good. Or you can also use a brush like this that has a angle. It's like an angled brush. So you can use it to get like this right here. A lot of like bronzing brushes you'll see look like this. This just came with like a bronzing palette. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to use this one just because it's my favorite. And contouring powders are usually pretty pigmented. So make sure you use a really light hand to start off with. Just like barely, like you barely tap and you see, I don't know if you can see like the product that comes off when I like barely tap. And then just tap off your brush because you can see all that excess coming up. Just because you don't want to start out with a heavy hand. So I'm going to take it, I go start right up here at my ear and then go down this way. If you kind of make a fishy face like this, it's kind of like right in that curve that you want to contour. I only bring mine about halfway down. It just kind of depends like what you prefer, but I think that looks the most natural is if you just bring it like halfway. So I'm going to do this side. And I turn my brush on its side and just use this side at first to get like a line and then buff it in after that. So now I have my line right where my cheekbone goes, which the color doesn't actually show up like this orange, but the lights are making it look a little overexposed. But so I'm just going to take the front part of my brush and I'm just going to blend that out. And these blend out pretty easy, but you just want to keep blending until that harsh line's gone because you don't want like a huge brown streak down the side of your face. Alright, so now that this side's nice and blended out, you can tell I'm going to go ahead and clean it up a little bit underneath it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my highlighting powder again, and I'm just going to take a dry sponge, just because I don't like to use the same, like this is just like an old sponge, it's like gross and dirty, but I like to use these for powders because the powders like make them look really gross, and then use a different one for my foundation. So this one's dry. But if you want your contour to be like a little bit sharper, you accidentally like brought it down too low, just take a highlighting powder or like a setting powder, put some on a sponge, you can also use a brush, and then take it right down here. So right underneath your contour, just down the side of your face. So it's also going to highlight that area, but it will also clean up your contour and make it a lot sharper. So then while that's there, I'm just going to blend this a little bit more. I'm just going to take this fluffy brush and I'm going to wipe that powder away. So now you can see that it only runs right here, and we cleaned up the bottom part of it. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that same thing to the other side. So I think you can probably see this side better. The lights are making this side look really like overexposed and orange. But this side you can tell like looks a little bit more, looks natural, because that's what I was going for. It was like a pretty natural I can't talk today. A pretty natural contour. Also, it's actually sunny outside for once, so the lighting outside, you can see it shining. But so you can kind of see it just creates like a shadow on your face. And then I'm also going to contour a little bit on my forehead. So same thing, dust off your powder, and I'm just going to run it right here, right kind of by my hairline, and blend that in. Alright, so there's the top of my forehead contoured as well. You can also use it to contour your nose. I personally never contour my nose. It doesn't really bother me. But if you are someone that wants to do it, all you have to do, once again, take your contour powder, and you can take like just like a little brush. This is just a detail brush from Royal & Langnickel. but you just want to contour right down the sides, right here, and then contour right down the sides right here, and then you want to contour right in like a V, like that, and then obviously just like blend it out. But I don't really tend to contour my nose, but if you wanted to, that's how you would do it. And then I am going to put on some bronzer as well. So the bronzer I use is obviously going to be like more orangey, so let me compare the two for you. So this is my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. Yeah, see, the lighting's making this side look a lot more orange than this side is, but it actually looks like this. The lighting's hitting the top of my forehead too, you can see it's kind of like, but in real life yours won't look like that. So I use this bronzer, which you can tell is a little bit more orangey than this one, which is more cool toned. Like hold it in front of them. And the pans, I know they do look a little similar, but they're actually not. So I'm just going to take my bronzer, and this is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer and just the shade Bronzer. I think they might do a lighter one, but this is just the shade that I've always used. And I'm just going to take my Real Techniques face brush, and I'm just going to bronze right over top of where we contoured, just to warm up the skin and kind of blend over that a little bit. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And then I'm going to take it up on my forehead. Same thing on this side. And then I'm going to do a little right here. And then down my neck just so everything matches. Because it is getting to be winter and I am getting pale. And then one last time, I'm just going to bronze in like a C shape. Because that's where you want your bronzers to hit. If you like took a brush and drew like a C on your face, that's on a C. Drew like a 3 on your face like this, that's like where you want it to go. And I'm just going to blend out my cheeks with the bronzer a little bit more. This bronzer is not like super orangey or like crazy bronzy, so you don't have to be super precise with it because you're not going to look like you got a bad spray tan or anything. Alright, so that's it for the contouring and then like the matte highlighting part and the bronzing. I'm going to put on the rest of my makeup and then I'll come back and show you using a sheen or a glowy highlighter. Okay, so I have the rest of my makeup on. Alright, so I'm just going to show you guys how to do highlighter with like a sheen. This is the Essence Pure Nude highlighter. It's just a really pretty sheen, no like chunky glitter or anything. And I'm going to use the Crown Kabuki brush. And I'm just going to put it on the high points of my face. So just right here on my cheekbones. And then I run it down the middle of my nose. Basically, I'm putting it the same place I put my concealer and my highlight powder. Right above the bridge of my nose, right on my chin, and a little bit right between my eyebrows. And that is it. I've got my contour, my highlight, super easy. It's not that hard to do. So, yeah. So here's the finished product. You can see the highlight, the contour. Alright, so like I said in the intro, my makeup looks like this now. It doesn't actually look like that in the what you just watched. But I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the final look and that you all learned some stuff from it. If you guys just needed some tips and tricks or you're just starting out, like I said, it's not professional or anything like that. It's just kind of what I use and what works for me. This makeup has been on my face for about 7 hours, like I already said. But if you want to like see, I mean, you can still see like my contour and my highlight and stuff like that. So the products I use do last a really long time. So that just kind of gives you an idea of them. So maybe it's a good thing that I came back 8 hours later to film this. But if you guys want more videos like this, give it a big thumbs up. Please leave some comments down below with some more video ideas that you guys would be interested in, just because I want to do stuff that you guys would love to watch. And also don't forget to hit the subscribe button below as well. I would really, really appreciate it. I made it all the way up to 20 subscribers so far, which I know doesn't seem like a lot, but to me that is really, really exciting. So let's keep that number going, and I really want to try and get this video to 100 likes. So really thumbs up that. I would really, really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a comment down below if you guys want to say anything, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!